Hey Crypt Keepers, thank you so much for tuning into Amy's Crypt. Today's video is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to be talking about one of the most epic places that I have ever visited. One of the new 7 wonders of the world, and I'm sure you guys have heard of it before, the Taj Mahal. Now you guys know that my channel mostly revolves around paranormal content, places that are haunted, and I wouldn't say that the Taj Mahal is necessarily haunted, but bear with me on this one because there is quite a few mysteries surrounding the Taj Mahal. Some very creepy legends, and there might even be something supernatural going on there. Plus, this place is just amazing. It's you know, as I said, one of the new 7 wonders of the world, so I really wanted to highlight it on my channel and show it to you guys. Just me butting in here to introduce today's video sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Picture this, you're a warrior fighting against a Dark Lord. You might even encounter orcs, the undead or lizard people. Maybe you'll find yourself in a dragon's lair or a spooky castle. Check out the links below to try Raid Shadow Legends for yourself. The game can be downloaded onto your mobile device or even a PC. Raid is split into a number of different factions, so you have orcs, dwarves or elves. You'll find them all in the index screen along with different champions. Naturally, my favourite faction is the Corrupted, who are basically evil. Here's my fave champion, his name is Kale and he's a rare character and a dark elf. And I must mention also a total badass. I'm not much of a gamer guys, but honestly I've had a bit of fun playing Raid. You get to collect and build onto your champions, their weapons, skills, and the artwork in this game is so amazing. What else is cool about Raid is they're always working on new champions. So here's a sneak look at some concept art of what Raid is working on, and oh my god, I am obsessed with this chick right here. Now if you want to give Raid Shadow Legends a play for yourself, use the links I have posted below. If you're a newbie to the game, you'll get an exclusive welcome pack that has a bonus silver, gems, mystery shards. You even get this awesome champion known as the Executioner. You'll find those extra rewards here in your inbox for the next 30 days only. Again, a big thanks to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring today's video and allowing me to keep taking you to creepy places all over the world. So I am going to admit to everybody watching that before visiting and going to India, I actually didn't really know anything about the Taj Mahal. Obviously I knew about it and what it looks like. It is super famous, so I'm sure everyone has heard of or seen photos of the Taj Mahal, but I just didn't know anything about its history or really what it was until I visited India. So I'm sure you guys who know me well can imagine my excitement when I found out that the Taj Mahal is in fact a giant mausoleum. So I'm one of those people that finds, you know, love in anything that is typically creepy to other people. I'm really interested in anything that's a little bit dark. So knowing that it was a mausoleum, I was like, heck yes, this makes me want to visit more. And I know that makes me a little bit weird. So the Taj Mahal dates back to 1632 and lies in the Indian city of Agra. It was commissioned by the then Emperor Shah Jahan to be built, and he is laid to rest in there, so it is a mausoleum for him. Now this building wasn't just built for the emperor as a glorious place to lay the emperor to rest. It was actually built because of the emperor's wife. Mumtaz Mahal was the emperor's wife, and you know, quite often people will look at the Taj Mahal as this really romantic, great love story because he built the Taj Mahal after his wife passed away as a place that he could put her to rest in. Obviously it is this huge, glorious, beautiful building. And I don't want to be like a total downer on, you know, everyone always seeing the Taj Mahal as this beautiful romantic place, because when you start looking into it, there's a lot of things that make it a little bit creepy and feel less romantic. So one of the things that we can start with is this Mumtaz Mahal was actually one of 7 wives that this emperor had. She was the 3rd or the 4th wife, so to me that just already makes it a little bit less romantic. But it is said that Mumtaz was the emperor's favourite wife, and they had a very close relationship, far closer than any level he had on with any of his other wives, should we say. So Mumtaz actually bared 14 children to Shah Jahan, and it wasn't until the birth of the last child that she actually passed away, and she passed away during childbirth. So she had a hemorrhage and died of extreme blood loss. Now this was very sad, and the emperor completely withdrew. He was so devastated when his favourite wife passed away. He actually went into like hiding and retreated for a whole year. And it was kind of during that year, in the time that he took away to mourn the loss of his favourite wife, that he kind of birthed the idea of the Taj Mahal. So again, it is pretty widely believed that Taj Mahal is a bit of a love story. The emperor built this palace-looking mausoleum for the love of his life, his wife who had passed away. But it is speculated that the Taj Mahal is a bit of like a power symbol. So this huge grand building, and it's just this epic like feat of beautiful architecture that nobody else could, you know, come up with or get done at that time in history. So was it a love story? Was it like a show off of your big power, you know, big powerful emperor? Either way you look at it though, the Taj Mahal is super impressive. So there's actually a lot of optical illusions that go on at the Taj Mahal as well. So besides just looking beautiful, it's also like a very, you know, it plays with your perspective a bit. When you're actually there, the Taj Mahal always seems a bit bigger than what it is. Like you can't quite grasp, like the perspective is off. You don't know how close you really are to it. It always seems like this huge epic structure. It's also very perfectly symmetrical. So there's one room that is not symmetrical, which I'll talk to a little bit later, but everything is like perfectly symmetrical. And then you've also got these 4 huge towers or pillars that kind of surround the main structure of the building, and they appear to be standing up straight, perfectly straight, but they're actually an optical illusion as well because they sort of bend outwards. And it's interesting because how the Taj Mahal was built was around the tomb. So essentially the building is constructed in a way that if anything goes wrong, God forbid, that the building will collapse in a way that goes outward and not destroy the tomb in the middle. So talking about how impressive and beautiful and how, you know, proud of this building the emperor was kind of brings us into the first legend. And I tell you what, this legend is creepy, and I guess it's also kind of gross. So the emperor was so, you know, chuffed with himself and this beautiful, magnificent building that he had built. He felt like, again, maybe this comes into the power of having built the Taj Mahal. He didn't want anyone else to build anything that was close to the Taj Mahal. He didn't want anyone else to build anything quite as impressive or significant. He wanted the Taj Mahal to remain truly impressive throughout the ages. So this building took a long time to build. It also took a lot of people to build it. So there was some 22,000 people involved in constructing the Taj Mahal, as well as some animals. But it's said that once the Taj Mahal was completed and it was done, the emperor thought, okay, how do I protect this and stop anyone else from making anything quite as impressive? It's actually rumored that he killed or tortured a lot of the people who worked to build the Taj Mahal. So all of those artists and skilled workers that made it were either murdered, like mass murdered, or they were tortured in very brutal, severe ways that saw them, you know, have their hands cut off so they couldn't work anymore, or their eyes gouged out so they couldn't see to work anymore. And it's just really brutal to think about. And knowing like thousands of people worked on the Taj Mahal, were they all killed or tortured in horrendous ways? Now I'll say it again, this is a legend. So it's not known to be like a historical fact. The story has been passed down and thrown around for a long time, but it hasn't been properly like documented in history. So people are a little bit skeptical and kind of say, you know, did this really actually happen, or is it just, you know, some rumor that everyone made up? Either way, it's creepy, it's disturbing, it is dark, and it goes towards, again, sorry, but making the Taj Mahal seem a little bit less romantic. Now moving on to our next legend, and this one to me is probably my favorite just because I can picture it in my head and it looks friggin' badass. But supposedly there was plans to have a second Taj Mahal built, like a replica to complement the Taj Mahal that we all know and see today. But this one was to sit on the opposite side of the river that the Taj Mahal sits along, and it was to be made of completely black marble. So you could picture the Taj Mahal that we know, the lovely white building, and then just across the river there is like a mirror image, but it is black. And I just think that that just warms my little gothic heart. I just think that would be so cool. Now this story kind of arose when a European man visited Agra back in the 1600s, and he actually had conversations with Shah Jahan, the then emperor, and he kind of documented those conversations that they had in writing. People read it, and you know, they interpreted this black Taj Mahal from his writings. And that's something that he and the emperor supposedly had discussed. Now this black Taj Mahal was to sit on the opposite side of the river, as I said, and there was supposed to be some evidence there that, you know, construction had actually started on the black Taj Mahal, because there was some remnants of marble found over there and the marble was black. And I should also mention that the black Taj Mahal, the complimentary building, was supposed to hold the emperor's tomb, so he was supposed to be buried over there. Now unfortunately later though, it was found that those remnants of black marble on the other side of the river, they were actually white marble remnants, and they had just kind of been really badly decayed and discolored, I guess. So much so that they turned black, and they thought, oh, it's probably just some like leftover bits of the actual Taj Mahal on the other side. So there was no real evidence that the black Taj Mahal had, you know, was in plans to be constructed. It's also thought that there was a great kind of misinterpretation of what the emperor said to the guy who wrote about the black Taj Mahal. It's thought that the emperor was talking about the shadow of the Taj in the river, and saying that that was like a black Taj Mahal. So the whole thing is a bit of a myth and like a misunderstanding, I guess, a little bit awkward, but how cool would this like gothic black Taj Mahal be? Now there is a belief as well that there's something a little bit supernatural going on at the Taj Mahal. I would love to tell you guys that the Taj Mahal is haunted, that there's ghosts there. You know, it is a mausoleum, a burial place, but I can't find any stories that, you know, there's a traditional haunting there. I would love to tell you that people have seen the emperor and, you know, his favorite wife, and they've seen their ghostly apparitions. I haven't seen any stories or any, you know, reports or anything documented about that type of sighting, although that would be really cool. So not to say that doesn't exist, so let me know if you've ever seen anything weird and you've actually visited the Taj Mahal. I would love to hear about it, but I can't tell you that. There is something else that's really weird and very peculiar going on though. Now there is a legend that there is something in the Taj Mahal that compels people to do this really strange act. And now somewhere in the Taj, I actually looked for it when I was there and I couldn't find it, but it said that somewhere in the building there is a carving on a wall, and basically it's like a shape and outline of the building, the Taj Mahal. And I don't know if it's something that like draws people in to do it, or people just do it because they see other people do it or they've heard about it, but supposedly hitting this picture with force right on the very like tippy top of the dome of the Taj Mahal at the top. If you like punch that, it brings forth water, or it spurs on the flow of water. And now I have so many questions about this. That is like all that I've read. I don't know where the water comes from, where it's supposed to like, is it supposed to come out of the wall? Is it supposed to cause it to rain? I don't know. It just seems like a really odd thing to do that I just can't really picture anyone like doing, like hearing about and actually going to do it. But supposedly there is a lot of evidence that people come to the Taj Mahal to do that. So supposedly the groundskeepers all the time find damage to that area of the Taj Mahal. Like people have punched this surface, this wall, this area, but they've also found like broken bangles on the floor. So I don't know how you hit it and like your bangle breaks or something. I don't know, but it's just really odd and peculiar. I don't know, the more I think about it, the weirder like that legend is. But also guys, like if you ever visit, not just the Taj Mahal, but any like old historic place, like don't go just punching the walls. Yeah, just don't do that. Now, a couple of other things of interest. Supposedly there is a bunch of like secret tunnels and secret rooms at the Taj Mahal, and they have been blocked off by the government, and it's not really like known why. People have speculated that it could be quite sinister, the reasons, but I don't really believe so. I don't doubt that there's hidden tunnels and rooms at the Taj Mahal. I'm sure there's more to that place that has been blocked off, but maybe it's because it's such a popular tourist destination and these places are, you know, fragile or ruined or even dangerous, so they're like, yeah, people don't need to go in and see this tunnel, you know what I'm saying? And I guess further testament to like these secret rooms is the actual tomb. So when you visit the Taj Mahal, you get the chance to like walk into the very middle of the mausoleum, I guess, and you can walk around the room. It's all ornately decorated, and there's these two like coffin things in the middle, so you can walk around and like look at them, but they're not actually where the bodies are kept. So there's a room underneath that room, like a chamber where the bodies are entombed, and it's said that that particular room, that tomb, is the only room that is not symmetrical inside the whole palace. It's also not ornately decorated, so I think that has to do with some of the burial beliefs there, where it's like your grave shouldn't be, you know, ornately decorated. So the actual graves and the room that they're in aren't, but I guess the whole surrounding is a huge like grand decoration. Also, they're not the only bodies interred at the Taj Mahal. So the Emperor and Mumtaz, they are the only ones in like the big white palace area that you know so well and is so famous. But on the grounds of the Taj Mahal, there are like several other buildings, and I guess the Emperor's other wives are also buried there. Plus so the Emperor's favorite wife's favorite servant is interred with his wives. And I think about it from their perspective, and how like annoyed with your husband would you be if he just was like, you're my favorite wife and I'm gonna build this huge spectacle for your grave, and like, and you know, wouldn't you think if you were one of them, you would haunt the place and be like really angry and like, why wouldn't you build me a Taj Mahal? Anyway, I do hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. The Taj Mahal is a really cool place. It's something that I wanted on my channel and wanted to share with you guys. Even though it's not necessarily like haunted, it does have a few creepy elements to it, so I feel like it has its place here on my channel. I know this episode is a little bit, you know, shorter, a little bit different as well, but I mean, this year has been really difficult to get out and film content, especially for someone who travel was such a huge part of their channel. It has brought back some really good travel memories for me, like making this video, so it's kind of cool, and I do hope that you guys appreciate it and enjoy it. But I've got some really cool videos lined up for you guys, so please get excited. But I do hope that you enjoyed this one. If you did, please remember to like, comment, share and subscribe. If you want to do any more reading about the Taj Mahal or any of the other spooky places around the world that I visited, head to my website AmysCrypt.com. You guys can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and even TikTok now. I'm also posting a bunch of bonus content over on my Patreon and my YouTube memberships, which I will link below. But thank you so much for watching, Crypt Keepers. Until next time.